Kaged is one of the leading US supplement companies, so when they got in touch with us and asked us to review their Nootropic drink, we were eager to test it out. And when this got delivered to the office, we couldn't wait to get started. So let's find out just how good it is in this Kaged Mindset review. Hey, how's it going? Jason here, the founder of SOMA Analytics, a place where we test supplements designed to optimize your mental agility. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to keep on top of our latest tests, make sure you do that now. So I've got something pretty exciting for you today. It's Kaged Mindset, and they've actually got two different versions of their Nootropic. So they have Kaged Mindset, which is the standard version, and they've got Kaged Mindset plus caffeine, which, as the name suggests, means that it includes caffeine, but actually it includes two different sources of caffeine. We're going to be talking about them today. And actually, this is a little bit different to most of the nootropics that we see on the market, because a lot of nootropics come in capsule or pill format. Now, this actually comes in a powdered format, which you simply mix with water to create a really nice nootropic drink. Now I'm going to test it for you today. It was actually really exciting when we received this box. This is a limited edition box. You might not actually be able to get your hands on this, I don't know, but you will certainly be able to get your hands on these two nootropic powders. Now, I mean, when this came through, it's a little bit tatty now. I'm not going to lie. I've used this a fair bit. So we're about 7 days into the testing so far. It came with this beautiful bottle for mixing. A little bit squeaky, but really, really high quality. And like everything that Kaged do, everything seems to stack up. Obviously the branding and all of that sort of stuff is on point, but more importantly than that, it has a really solid ingredient profile. So we're going to go through that in this review today. I'm obviously going to give you my experience of what it was like to take Kaged and the impact and how fast that affected me. And I'll be mentioning both variants too. So not just talking about the caffeine plus, but also talking about the non-caffeine version for those who might be adverse to stimulants or who simply just don't want to put additional caffeine into their system. So as I said, I've already tested this a few times. I've tested the caffeinated version around 5 times and the non-caffeinated version I've tested twice. And I've got to say, both taste pretty much the same. Orange and mango, or orange mango, is the flavour. That's the only flavour available at the time of launch, and it tastes great. Now, the one thing I would say is when you open it, you get this little scoop here. Now, when I first opened this, it was a little bit tricky to scoop out without getting it everywhere. So you do end up with a little bit of powder kind of all over the place. I think it's just because the scoop, the handle's a little bit long. So that might be something that they'll fix. But once you've used it for the first time, I've not had that issue since. Now, typically, I've been mixing it in with this lovely limited edition bottle that Kaged sent me. But just so that you can see this nice and easily, I'm going to put it and mix it in with this water here. So Kaged actually say the standard serving size is 1 scoop, and that is all I've generally had. I have tested it with 2 scoops, which they say gives you the full effect, but it's up to you whether you do that. For me, as someone particularly who doesn't have a huge amount of caffeine, I didn't feel that I needed to have that full effect, and the effect that I got from 1 scoop was plenty. So we're just going to give that a nice little mix. Now, generally I've been mixing it and then shaking it, but you don't really need to do that. And you can see there from the colour, it's actually a really nice natural looking colour. Now, I am noticing, because I'm not shaking this, I'm getting a few more lumps than I would usually be used to. So it might be good if you've got a protein shaker or something like that to use that just to kind of get those last little bits of residue mixed in. But that is probably, I mean, I'm just using the back end of a knife. I probably would be better off using a fork, actually. But if you look at that, there's not too much kind of There aren't too many bubbles or anything like that coming to the surface. It's a nice consistency. It's a pretty watery juice-like consistency. And it's really nice. It has got that slight bit of kind of sweetener taste where you can generally tell if you drink drinks with sweetener, but it's not nasty at all. As someone myself who's drunk a lot of pre-workout type drinks, this is top tier in compared to anything that I've had from anywhere else in terms of pre-workouts. Now, you probably could actually use this as a pre-workout, to be honest. So I'm going to drink that now, and then I'm going to tell you how I feel. We'll stop the recording. We'll switch it back on in about half an hour, which is usually around how long it takes for this to take an impact. So cheers. Okay, so you can see, just got to the bottom of that. And actually, considering I mixed it just with the back end of a knife, it's mixed pretty well. There's not really any bits at the bottom. Let's just try that last little bit. You can actually see the bottom there, there's not a lot left in there at all. Obviously, we could mix that with a little bit more water if we wanted to, but I know I'm not going to need to. The aftertaste isn't too bad as well. I mean, it's a pretty nice drink to drink. And I think for me, as someone, personally, I would sit and write and edit work. It's very pleasant to sit with it on the desk and just sip away. So let's take a look at the ingredients in this, and then we'll talk about the impact, what I felt, what we're expecting to get from Kaged Mindset. So you can actually head over to the SOMA Analytics website and look at our full written review of Kaged Mindset to see all of the ingredients, but I'm just going to quickly go through them now. So it's got a really, really solid vitamin B complex with vitamin B6, B12 and B3 in the form of niacin. And the dosage of each of these is pretty strong. Now, why do we see this in a lot of nootropics? Well, for the simple reason that these B vitamins are responsible for repairing neurotransmitters, and we do see these vitamin B complexes in a lot of nootropics, like I said. We also get 75 milligrams of vitamin C per scoop. Now, this is a key player in helping to promote dopamine production. And also, obviously, we know there's lots of other physical benefits that we get from taking vitamin C. We then get alpha GPC, which again is something that we see in a lot of nootropics, and we get a relatively healthy dose here of 600 milligrams per serving. So if you do want to double that up, you're going to get 1200 milligrams, which is pretty significant and certainly in line with kind of clinical studies. Now, why is alpha GPC so potent as a nootropic? Well, it's because it helps to promote choline in the brain, which has a whole array of benefits in terms of cognitive functioning. And we also get L-tyrosine, and we get 500 milligrams of that, which is a really good amount of this amino acid. This is quite often seen in nootropics that tend to look to regulate mood or promote a sense of calm. So that's actually a really good ingredient to include. We also get L-carnitine, which is a bit of a contentious one for a nootropic, but it's certainly not going to do any harm. And there are some growing banks of evidence to suggest that it can boost cognitive energy. We get 500 milligrams here. We then get huperzine A. Now we get 5 milligrams of that, which is more than enough. And again, there's evidence to support that this will help prevent the reduction of acetylcholine in the brain, which again helps those neurotransmitters to function fully. We get Panax ginseng, and the reason that Kaged have included this is to help us get into a state of flow. And that's certainly something that I did feel when taking it and working, and whether that was a bit of a placebo effect or not, it's hard to say. But flow is one of those things that it is difficult to kind of pin down and say, this is definitely having this effect. But for me, it certainly did. I did feel that impact. We then get 50 milligrams of phosphatidylserine, which is an ingredient that has been shown to protect against age-related cognitive decline. We get a really strong mineral complex too, with the likes of zinc, calcium, vanadium, copper, iron, boron, chromium, and plenty more. Now that is a proprietary blend of 50 milligrams, so it's hard to know exactly how much there is of each, but still this is a really solid addition to the mix. And then the caffeinated version has two types of caffeine. It has an instant impact caffeine, and then they have a patented slow release caffeine, which is designed to prevent the jitters and prevent crashes from taking on board a lot of caffeine and then obviously hitting that crash afterwards. So in total, we get 150 milligrams of pure caffeine, which comes from organic green coffee beans, so it's really clean and efficient form of caffeine. Now 150 milligrams is going to be around 2 strong cups of coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker, then I definitely wouldn't suggest that you double up on the dose, because 300 milligrams is a pretty intense amount of caffeine. But at 150 milligrams, you're probably okay as long as you don't drink it at the same time as taking this supplement. Now we then get the extended release caffeine, which, as I said, is a patented system that releases the caffeine slowly into the body for 3 or 4 hours after consuming it. The $64 million question is, what impact does it have? Well, it's been around 10 or 15 minutes since I just consumed this and already starting to feel it. And like I said, it's probably the caffeine that I'm feeling at the moment, but certainly in terms of when I've used it and sat there writing and editing, I've managed to stay focused for a good 2 or 3 hours very, very easily, and my productivity levels have without a doubt improved. Now, again, is that due to it being a placebo effect, or is there actually something behind all these other ingredients? Now, in terms of the ingredients that we've got in both Mindset Caffeine and Standard Mindset, they're absolutely up there with the best. They're solid. Now, of course, anything in the world of nootropics is still relatively new territory in terms of clinical studies, but the ingredients here are very well supported. And just from the vitamin and mineral complex alone, you're getting an awful lot of supplementation, really positive supplementation from this. For me, there's been absolutely no side effects. I wouldn't say I'm the sort of person that is sensitive to caffeine, although when I have had pre-workouts in the past and I've had the kind of the tingly face and the sweats and that sort of thing, when it's been around about that 150 milligram level. This is 150 milligrams of caffeine and I do not get that feeling. But what I do get is that calm sense of energy and focus. And I think that's where the real benefits lie in this. So if you're looking for improvements in memory or recall, this probably isn't the nootropic for you. But if you're looking for that focus and calm energy boost, so professionals, writers, students, even athletes, I think are going to benefit from Kaged Mindset. Now, if you're finding this video useful, I would love it if you could drop a like for us and help spread the word about Kaged Mindset and the work we do here at SOMA Analytics, where we test nootropics and try and give you our best recommendations. So if you want to stay on top of all that, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and maybe head over to our website. We've also managed to get for you a exclusive discount code for Kaged Mindset if you do want to try it out, and that is SOMA15. Just pop that in at checkout and you should get 15% off. So for me, Kaged Mindset is the real deal. I personally preferred the caffeinated version just because I felt it had that impact a little bit quicker. As someone who doesn't drink coffee, it's something that I could easily put into my daily regime without going too far in terms of my caffeine intake. But I must admit, even the Standard Mindset version really gave me an energy boost, just it wasn't quite so prolonged. So the caffeine version was giving me energy for around 4 or 5 hours, whereas the non-caffeinated version was looking more like 2 hours. In terms of flavour, it's really, really nice to drink. I can't stress that enough. You'll try this and I'm sure people that have tried it will comment. It's pretty natural tasting. Obviously it has got some sweeteners in there, but everything's gluten-free, vegan-friendly, non-GMO. So it's all good stuff that's going into this. And from a dosage point of view, it's also pretty solid. The other thing that I really like with this is you can decide whether you want to go 1 scoop or 2 scoops. And even you might decide to start off with half a scoop if you're completely brand new to nootropics, and particularly if you've never really taken on board a huge amount of caffeine. It's also pretty cost effective. If you compare it to the likes of NuCube, Alpha Brain, particularly something like Qualia Mind, this is going to be a lot more cost effective. It's not super convenient for everyone if you're on the move. Obviously you can pre-mix if you've got a nice bottle like this, but for some people it might not be quite as convenient as taking the capsule. For me personally, I really enjoyed taking on in drink format. I've got to say, I think Kaged have absolutely nailed it with Mindset, and for me it's definitely going to be something that I use as a nootropic tool on a regular basis. It's definitely going to be in my arsenal. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up and drop your comments down below if you've tried it. And oh, and by the way, we've got an exclusive discount code, which is SOMA15. Links down in the description below, which will take you straight to the product. Choose which version you want, and like I said, let us know how you get on with it.